Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Drams Delivered. Today we're going to be trying something a little bit peaty and a little bit sweet as well. So what have we got in front of us here today? This is Smokehead Blast, which is a single malt from Islay, but it's produced by Ian MacLeod Distillers. So we don't know exactly where it's come from, but we're going to do our best today to have a wee taste and a wee guess. So Matt, tell us a little bit more about Ian MacLeod Distillers.
Yeah, so Ian MacLeod Distillers own a couple of distilleries that we are big fans of here. So they own Tamdhu and they also own Glengoyne. And for any gin fans out there, they also own Edinburgh Gin. And they often use sherry casks in their production. So they have a good source of sherry casks, clearly. If you've ever tried any Glengoyne or Tamdhu, you'll understand the quality of their sherry casks. So Smokehead is a brand from Ian MacLeod Distillers. And as John said, this is a limited release from Smokehead. There is a core range Smokehead, but we're very fortunate enough today to have the limited sherry cask release. And yeah, we're very, very excited to give it a go.
Yeah, so on that note, shall we give it a go?
It looks very menacing.
It looks, now when I first looked at this bottle, I was a wee bit scared. I thought a big skull on the front, Smokehead Sherry Cask Blast. And I'll also admit, when I looked at it at first, I thought that's maybe a blended malt, but it is an Islay single malt Scotch whisky. Bottled at 48%, so good strength. Now there is a little synopsis of the whisky on the back here, which I'll read to you. Indulge your senses with a peaty smokehead that's been boldly blasted by Oloroso sherry casks. Emerging full-bodied, fruity and fierce, that's a bit like Matt, spicy and smooth, a whisky that's more explosive than an Armada cannonball.
Very nice, yeah. Very nice.
There we go, let's
I think on the
taste.
website it says it's so smoky it turned the skull red.
Here we are, beautiful presentation, lovely
Yep.
black bottle with sort of red colouring there.
It's definitely, even before trying it and just reading it, I think this is, and I think they say themselves, this is not a whiskey for the faint-hearted.
No.
This is, I'm fully expecting this to be an explosion, John.
Boom, boom. Now let's see if there's an explosion here when we open the bottle. Oh,
good.
Yeah. I was expecting that to come flying off like a champagne cork and hit you in the head. A wee dram?
Please, yeah. Oh, very nice colour.
There we go. Now, let's have a look at the colour of that. So this is finished in Oloroso sherry. And I think from that colour you can easily see that lovely dark colour to the whisky, almost a nutty kind of light brown. And when we have a nose,
it's lovely. It's got that Islay hit straight away.
Yeah.
That dirty, earthy, kind of medicinal.
Old engine oil is a great tasting note there.
Yeah. What's your favourite tasting note from Islay?
Well, I was very, very lucky once to try a whisky from a closed distillery on Islay. And one of the tasting notes that one of my friends gave me for this whisky was that it smelled like the tarmac on the deck of the Calmac ferry, just as you land on Islay. Not when you set off, but when you land, it smelled like the deck of the Calmac ferry.
Love it.
Yeah,
love it. Someone once said to me in a tasting that they thought peat, that sort of medicinal kind of smell was like iodine, and they said it was like, you know the scene in Batman when the Joker's leaving the burning hospital? He's like, smells like what that burning hospital would smell like. So, yeah, we're both big Islay fans. As soon as we stick our nose on this, it's very distinctively Islay. We don't know what distillery it is. We can have a little guess, just from our, I guess, whiskey experience. There's some distilleries in Islay that don't maybe sell to other kind of bottlers, and there's some that do. Just smelling it as well, my guess maybe something like Kulila, it could be. They are the biggest distillery in terms of volume on the island as well, so it does have that kind of nose to it, but I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, if I had a wee nose, I'd maybe guess something like Lagavulin.
Lagavulin? Yeah.
Let's have a taste. Slange.
Slange.
Cheers. Oh wow, yeah. That's lovely.
That is really good.
That's delicious, yeah.
It's a nice strength as well, 48%.
You can take a wee bit of water, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think I'm good without for that. I think for me, peated whiskey not covers up, that's the wrong way to put it, but it softens alcohol for me.
Yes.
Because it's such a strong flavour. Peat just makes whiskey much more sort of softer. I know the flavour is bigger, but I do find the mouthfeel softer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and for me as well, I think sherry cask whiskies are some of my favourite whiskies in the world. And when you have big peaty flavours and you have really rich flavours from the sherry casks, those two kind of work together very well. Oftentimes, if you have an unpeated whiskey in a very active type of sherry, it can overpower the distillate and overpower the character of that distillery, and you end up with just an incredibly sweet, strong dram. But in this case, I feel there's a real balance between the smoke and the sweetness.
So this is Oloroso sherry. So there's lots of different sherry casks used. So sherry casks come from Spain, and particularly a sherry triangle.
What are the three towns that make up the sherry triangle?
I knew you were going to ask me that, John, and I'm going to pass this straight back over and say, now it's not Jerez, John. We're not Highlanders, but it's, how do we pronounce it? Jerez.
Jerez. Okay, Jerez, that's one.
Yeah.
Sanlúcar de Barrameda.
Oh, he's good.
And last one's on you.
You told me about 10 minutes ago and I cannot remember.
El Puerto de Santa Maria.
Oh,
there we go.
Standard grade Spanish over here.
Little triangle of towns in southwest Spain. And that's the only place that sherry can be produced. You can create fortified wine in any region really, but sherry itself has to come from the sherry triangle, the Jerez triangle.
Just like Scotch from Scotland.
There we go.
There we go. So yeah, the other key thing I think we were going to chat about on this episode was peat. We kind of take for granted, we all know what peated whiskey is and where the flavour comes from, but to give you a quick kind of simple explanation, peat is condensed earth over maybe 2,000-3,000 years, and it's used as a fuel source to heat people's homes. And it's got a very distinctive smell to it, and when you burn it, you get smoke, and that smoke is used to dry the barley. So as the barley's kind of drying and soaking up that smoke, if you make whiskey using that barley, you will get something like this. Now, the way to think about it is if you've been at a bonfire or a barbecue and you smell your clothes the next day, they've soaked up all that smoke. So that's what the barley's doing. And this is specifically Islay. So Islay peat is different from mainland Highland peat. So Islay peat's mainly made up of sea life, crustaceans, so it's quite phenolic when you burn it. Whereas Highland peat tends to be much more vegetation, there's heather, so things like Highland Park, they always say there's like a heathery kind of smoke to it. It's much more kind of floral, whereas Islay peat tends to be much more kind of punchy and medicinal, carry a bit more weight to it.
Yes, and if you go back long enough, all whiskey making used peat, and it's only maybe about 110, 120 years ago that there was a move away from that towards the lighter style. So yeah, you're really tasting what whiskey used to taste like a long, long time ago.
And it will split people here. Let us know what you think. Some people will love smoky whiskey, and other people, I can only apologise, this month may not have been for you, but hopefully for some of you it's opened up your eyes and has opened the door to peat. So yeah, we love this, and again, thanks to the guys at Ian McLeod who again have been helpful with this, and we'd like to get some of their sort of Tam Dew and Glengoyne, so if you guys are up for trying some of that, let us know. We'll get in touch with them and hopefully get some more whiskey in your glasses to sample. So yeah, until next month, Slán Java.
Slán Java.
Thank you. Cheers.